Yo,
Yo,
Cool.
what's up? What's up, bro?
What's up? What's up, man?
So good to have you on the show finally.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Nice. And like overall, how's your what's your take, man, the current situation? Like just not like getting specific, but just to know
Yeah.
from your side, like how are things at Chelsea? Like what are your
Yeah.
thoughts as a Chelsea fan right now? Is it all
I
good?
mean, it has been an interesting summer and an interesting start to the new season. But I think definitely the main thing is that new era vibe. Like it's a completely new. Um, I would say like a shift from the Roman Abramovich era to this new era. There's new manager. There's a new uh, board, new people, like completely fresh. So um, yeah, I think it's definitely we're trying to build on that newness aspect about it. But yeah, I mean there have been some letdowns in the last year. Not gonna lie, but yeah, it's been relatively, especially in the last few games, it's been interesting, and I think it's a really good time to face Arsenal as well. uh, Considering you guys how y'all are performing, so yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. This sounds good. I just want to know, like, what is your vibe right now as a Chelsea fan? Like, okay,
Yep.
you had like 3 wins in a row, I guess, Brighton and then one more team.
We had, yeah.
You
We defeated Brighton, Fulham, and
yes,
most
Fulham.
recently Burnley, bro, for 1-0.
Yes, 4-1. So, like, what's the vibe?
Yep.
Like, after like the whole start with the season started with, I would say, ultra negativity, and then like right now we're in a place like, okay, you guys beat Brighton, and you guys beat like Fulham, and then you beat them Burnley, and like, okay, after the international break, you're going to face Arsenal. So, like, what's the vibe right now? Like, after the negative start, is especially.
This season, like that's what I say. I mean, for me, if I look at it from my point of view, I didn't feel as much of that negativity because of that newness, you know. So I felt like okay, it was the season that didn't make sense last season, and we had too many changes. It was just too volatile, you know. So I thought this time would literally be a fresh start, and it was, you know. Drawing
Mhm.
Liverpool 1-1 first day with that completely new squad, I think we did a decent job. But after that, it was just like there were signs coming back of, you know, like some things that we still had, like from the last season, which was very like it's like that skin was peeling off. You know, it was like a new Chelsea. But especially in the last three games, I think it's been largely positive, man. Like because I remember I was here as well. To stay up for a game at 2 a.m. and like if it was last season that negative aspect, like I would have not stayed up for it, dude. I would have just said, you know, on a weekday I'm not staying up. But this one I stayed up for it and it was great, man. It was I mean they scored two quick fire goals. Yeah, we got lucky, but just to see the boys then hold it out after that in the second half. Yeah, of course Fulham changed it, but still we held on, man. I think it was definitely very positive, and there are lots of positive to take from the last three games. But I think it's just mainly the as a fan when you see some plays, you know, like when you see them doing the same mistakes or just having that lack of confidence, that's the thing that really takes it away from you, you know. Um, but yeah, generally, I think it's an interesting time, as I said. Let's see if we can
Yep.
build on this momentum.
Yep. Agreed. As an Arsenal fan, I can agree to this a lot
Yeah,
because we've seen that phase under Emery, the last years of Wenger, and
yeah,
the starting years of Arteta, where like it was a struggle, like the of 20th and all that at the start of the season.
yeah,
So definitely, like it's good to see that like you haven't taken it totally negative the way the rest of the fan base has. That at the
yeah,
start of the season, I remember seeing Chelsea Twitter and a lot of places like about Chelsea where it was just nothing but negativity. But it's good to see that okay, that
yep.
there are fans who are taking a realistic take on the situation, given it's a new manager and stuff like that. So yeah, man. Overall, even I feel that as a rival fan, as an Arsenal fan, I would say that okay, it's good to see that because last season when we visited Stamford Bridge, I know it would have been. I considered it to be a tough game and stuff, but it wasn't really that. It wasn't really that. And at Emirates, you know
Yeah.
what it was. We sort of did a watch along, sort of, and
Yeah.
it yeah, and it wasn't like at Emirates the game was done in 22 minutes or something. So
22 minutes,
definitely,
three
yeah,
goals.
that's what this time I'm looking forward to that. Okay, a proper Arsenal Chelsea, because I've not
Yeah.
seen that in years. What I've seen is that, okay, either like you all were very good all these years under Mourinho, under Ancelotti, and all these managers you had from
Yeah.
2005 to probably 2016, 17. You guys were just the better team,
Yeah.
always in the Chelsea Arsenal match. But since 2017, I feel things have slightly changed. But it's just that, okay, like in 2017 to 2021, you had results here and there. Like, you guys won, we won, you all won, we won. But
Yeah.
lately, like post 2021, it was like, okay, Arsenal were doing something totally different under Arteta in this third season, and you
Yeah.
guys were going through the transition with Potter. So it'll be good to see that, okay, finally both the teams are coming head to head and both are in a good shape.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just that
Well,
momentum. I mean, learning it from you guys, man, like just momentum. And as you said, man, like even in all like Arsenal Chelsea like encounters in the last few years, I've always felt like confident. Like, okay, it's Arsenal. Like, the boys will up their game. That's just gonna be a proper derby because there's lots at stake, and Chelsea, Arsenal are always at the top, like where there is always like the stakes are high. I still remember the last few years. The only thing that's come to my mind was the Lukaku one, man, where
oh yeah.
that whole Lukaku narrative. He was there. We scored 2 goals, and at the Emirates, I think at the
At,
bridge.
a, at Emirates,
That was
Emirates. It was
Emirates.
at
I
it was
remember.
at Emirates.
Yeah, that was like
It
a
was at Emirates.
statement thing. Like
Yep.
Tuchel
Yep.
felt like that. But since
Yep.
then, it's just been like, okay, come. Come, Saka, come, please take us away. He's crossing the ball and he scores a goal. And I'm just like, wow. Like
No, I
when
guess
you're
it is.
down, when your luck is down, mate. Like it is.
It is that season itself when Eddie went, like, Lukaku
Idea.
scored 2 goals at Emirates, and Eddie went to Stamford Bridge and scored two again, and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we won
True.
4-2, and like it is like okay, that. But
Yeah,
probably that was the last I felt Arsenal Chelsea, like, okay, we were even, like, sort of that
yeah,
Stamford Bridge game, sort of even. Of course, Eddie got slightly lucky that night, and he got a brace,
yeah,
so probably we won the game. But post that, I think that the whole transition started for Chelsea
yeah,
because of the ownership change and stuff like that. So
yeah. The
yeah, man,
volatility, man. Yeah, led to a lot
that's what.
of downfalls.
Yeah, it's like, how would I say, transition phase. So like
Yeah,
we know it, what a transition
yeah,
phase looks like. So it's just that okay, like we can just hope that, okay, things get better from here. Okay, not like the transition phase shouldn't go like that long, given the money spent and the quality of the players which are already there. Okay, you guys have really good
yeah,
players. That's a fact. So yeah, man, that's what, like, I can just hope things get better from here.
yeah,
Cool. Cool. So just now talking about last season. Now,
yeah.
can you tell me what are the exact areas, according to you as a Chelsea fan, where it went wrong last season?
I mean, last season is definitely one to just wipe. Just like if I had a chance to erase it from my hard drive, I would just click one delete and bam, just let it go. But uh, I think for me, at from a from where I sit, like I think his core reason was the volatility because of multiple managers, and also the biggest moment I think that happened that really changed it was the Russia's invasion of Ukraine. I know I don't want to get political, but it had basically a severe effect on Chelsea. We lost our main support, Roman. I mean, give it what you want, man. But he's been a legend. He's been a great owner, and the managerial door is always revolving at Chelsea. But yeah, I think last season was, especially with the managers, two in one season, inconsistent squads. Yes, we spent a lot of money, and I think it just tactically we were woeful. And um, of course, injuries were also there, injuries to some players, but that's never an excuse. We had a squad depth we could use. The squad, actually, speaking of the squad was so bloated, man. We had so many players, and they were not getting chances or they were not performing. I remember Hakim Ziyech was just not up to the standards we'd seen him at Ajax and even at Chelsea. But yeah, a lot of the lot of the things I would say were tactical, man. Like we were just not getting that right system. Um, and it was like teams were reading us pretty fast. Teams were just uh, going through us like pretty easily. It was like it didn't feel like it was the Chelsea that I had grown up watching and supporting. Like we just didn't have that cutting edge, dude. Like, but we had all these players who were just not performing. Like Kai Havertz's best example, man. Like he was our Champions League like goal. He scored the goal that won us the Champions League, and Mason Mount as well. These two players, just I don't know, mate. Like they were just not there. All credit to them, and they're always going to be in Chelsea's eyes like very important key players. But yeah, I think it could also just come down to manager instability, club instability, board instability, and that's also a reflection of the world's events even today. Uh, so this podcast also we're doing at a time where there's so much tension and like the political front, but somehow it affects like clubs, and Chelsea were hit, you know. But yeah, uh, I think for me, purely as a football thing, a football fan and a tactical uh, point of view, I think it's just we couldn't finish as well, dude. Like, look at Arsenal. You took your chances, and like credit where it's due, man. I have to say, um, but at the same time, yeah, like I said, it wasn't the Chelsea that we knew, and just 2 seasons ago under Tuchel, we were still playing pretty well, man. So we had that, we had that tactical prowess, that cutting edge, and the same players, literally the same players. They were just not stepping up to their own capabilities, in my view.
Agreed there, 100%.
Yeah.
And like the part where you said that okay, you could identify the team as Chelsea, I would agree to that 100%. Because even
Yeah.
as a rival fan, I know I've watched Chelsea all these years, and the one thing I know that okay, I whenever like have Chelsea face Arsenal, the higher probability is like okay, we're gonna lose. Okay, like that's gonna be the case. I don't really like all these years up till 2020. I didn't expect that okay, we'll win. We used to win at some instances here and there, but I used to never expect 100% win. And then last season, after the first leg, I don't know why at Emirates it felt like okay, like this one we're just winning. Okay, and it has
Mm.
never been a case with Chelsea at Emirates or Stamford Bridge. I don't know, like whatever place we play them, it's never been that okay. We're gonna go there and like okay, just gonna beat them. Okay, and that feeling was there. And even when I saw the other Chelsea games, like that's what
Yeah.
I told you also as well throughout the last year that
Mm.
where's the thing about taking the chances and being a top club. Okay,
Yeah.
side passing, passing to Kukurea passing to someone Aspilicueta, and it's just
Yeah.
going on the side. There's nothing going progressive, like nothing was going forward, taking the risks, taking those chances, trying to create that something magical, like what was always there at
Mm.
Chelsea. And one through ball, and then it's a counter attack, and things open up. Kante, Jorginho,
Exactly.
all going in, and that was like totally missing. Even though the players were there, as you said, like Mount was there, Havertz, you had Kante, you had
Kante
Jorginho.
as
The
well. Yeah.
first half of the season, Jorginho was there, so it is like you had the core of the squad, but I don't know, just like something went totally wrong. Probably like those players, they just stopped identifying the club at one point, and it's good that you sold them. Like like none of them were bad players, to be honest. Mason Mount is a good player. Kai Havertz, he's doing well at Arsenal now. You see Jorginho, he's doing decently well at Arsenal. You have N'Golo Kante is going to Saudi. So like these are good players. These are not bad players.
Yeah.
Like they're like very good players. Probably it's just the system at that point. I feel the system. There was no system in place, which probably hurt them. Like those kind
Yeah.
of players. Because all those players, if you see, they're used to playing in a system. Like you had under Tuchel, you had under Sari before that, you had under Conte before that. So each of
Yeah.
these managers they got a system. Whereas Graham Potter was like, I don't blame him to be honest, because he is
Mm.
a person who comes from Brighton, and I
Yeah.
don't. And the thing is, Brighton have a strong scouting system, but in terms of having a football identity, I feel they have it more under Deserby than they had under Potter.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So like probably like Potter was a different sort of a call for you guys, a totally different style of a manager. probably which didn't work out. I think Potter would do very well at a club like Everton or something, to be very honest. And
Yeah,
it's just
I
that
think.
it's just not meant. You both were not sort of meant for each other. Yeah,
It
that's what I like.
wasn't. Yeah,
That's what I
sorry.
like seeing Pochettino. That okay, Poch is there and he's come in. He's ready to. He's coming with a system. Like like okay, you saw the first few games, you get an idea. Okay, Chelsea want to play in a specific manner. The last three games, when you go to see, you're like, okay, you can draw some common points from the last three games. You see that okay, there's a specific approach, the specific way you guys press. There's a specific manner in which you guys attack when you go. So like yes, like very similar to what it was at Tottenham when he was the manager.
Yep.
So it's good to see. It's good to see that the system is back at Chelsea. It's just the thing we'll need to see is how well the system works.
Yeah, how efficient it is, and
Yeah.
whether it can last the Premier League. Honestly, for me as a football fan, and since I used to play football myself, like quite extensively, I feel that like that was the main shift. How
Mm.
is and I was actually following the preseason games for the same reason. I was seeing basically just trying to see how they were set up. What were they doing different than they were doing last season? Because last season we were all over the place.
I know.
There was there was chaos. Like there was no communication. There was like Thiago Silva, our oldest player in the Premier League, is the best player. He's chilling. He just understands his position well and he can do his job well. But the others were like they were just not performing, and they're the same players. Um, System is, I think, the most critical thing, and Pochettino being that he's gone through those many different clubs, he's been successful and not successful, whatever. But I mean, yeah, I was coming from Spurs, so you're gonna always have that, that psychological image of him, like, oh, he's just a Spurs manager, man. Damn it,
Yep.
But yeah, I think he did well, and I think he's done quite well, notably integrating Jackson and Mudrik into this system. Um, Enzo as well, Enzo Caicedo as well. Just getting them in the middle of the park. Totally new squad, totally new system, and I think it's still getting tweaked. We're still finding the right balance. But yeah, longevity. I think time is is going to be our. We will
Yep.
understand it. I think the best in the course of the season.
100% agreed there. 100% agreed there. Cool.
Yeah,
So now let's move on to okay. We spoke about last season and whatever happened last season. Let's talk about what we have currently. Okay.
yeah,
So what I want to know from your side is that what are your thoughts on the current squad size versus the quality which is there? Because when I see the like as a third person, as a rival fan or as a neutral, when I see on paper, I think according to me the quality is top notch. Okay, but from your side, and but I think the squad, given that you all are still playing only in the domestic competitions, I think there are some extra players in some positions. So I just want your take on like what do you think the squad size is versus the overall quality which is there in the club right now?
yeah. I think it's a very interesting point of discussion. You sent it to me also earlier pre-stream. I was like, okay, this is something you can definitely worth getting talking about. And like I felt like the last season squad was way more bloated because we had multiple people at multiple players at multiple positions, and key players, and top notch players as well. Like Ziyech on the bench, he was just not getting a chance to. He was just not able to get in. But nobody was playing performing well. So the value of the squad size we were getting last season still didn't like show up. So since we changed the whole thing, this season, we let go of a lot of players and we brought in a lot of players. Um, well, credit to Todd Bowley as well, man. Like he spent a lot, and the Clear Lake group, they've spent a lot. But have they been, you know, what return of investment are we going to get on these acquisitions? Is going to be an interesting thing to see in the next, I think, this season for sure, but also the next few seasons, because these guys have got like longer contracts, 5-year contracts. Uh, 7-year contract, some of them. So yeah, I mean, quality will definitely will be judged with return on investment. I think for how these kind of players perform. We've certainly gone in from a certain angle approach to this season's like and last season's. um, transfer strategy. Like we've gone for certain type of players, certain type of age, certain type of system that works with Pochettino style as well. Um, I think it's this season is I think we have a decent squad size, but uh, honestly, as a Chelsea fan, we've not even got a chance to see that whole squad. They've been injured, dude. In the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we've had minimum 10 plus injuries and like critical ones, in my view. Players who would have been like finally probably would have been settled and tried to. Fofana, he was there whole last season, so this was his chance to show his potential. Like we signed him for I think some 60-70 million, dude. Like from Leicester. Um, but yeah, he's injured, and there were so many players who just kept getting injured, and every match we were just depleted playing. So I'm still yet to see, if all these will be used and how will that feel. But yeah, I think a lot of players went again on loan. That's always Chelsea's strategy. But yeah, so you're right with the point about just playing in the local domestic competitions. But still, that's what, four, isn't it? Like three, four of them, three of them at least.
Three of them, three of them.
Yeah, Premier League,
FA Cup and
FA Cup,
Carabao Cup.
and Carabao. Yeah, so we're still in it on all three at this point, even though 11th in Premier League. But it's okay. We're still there. We have our targets. I think realistic targets for this season, and the aim should be to at least try to get a cup win. I know it's asking a lot, but I mean, shouldn't that be the aim of winning? Like, right? So yeah,
Especially
I think
after the money spent, like
yeah,
I think, like
money spent and the just the mindset, bro. Like Chelsea is a club where it's used to winning, bro.
yeah,
The players who have joined who should know that, you know. Um, and I'm like, I know like Chelsea fans will have like different opinions on this, but whatever, we won, dude. Nonetheless, like whatever happened, we performed. Like when we needed to perform, we performed. I think. So
yep,
that I think is needs to be raised again. Like that standards as we spoke of uh, earlier, man. They just need to be raised. I think that'll be the most gratifying thing to see as a fan. Just the boys putting their all there and winning things and you know getting the accolades for their own careers as well and making Chelsea fans um, proud. Yeah,
agreed, very much, agree very much there, and yep. So even I would say, like, like as I said, as when I look at the quality of the team, I mean, I'm very happy to see, like, what I see, the quality of, like, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo.
yeah,
Then you got Jackson, you got Mudrik, you have Sterling, you got a very good, like, backline, Disasi, you got Malo
yeah,
Gusto, Chilwell, even Robert Sanchez. I feel is doing very well. Probably that's the only player I had my questions on when you signed
yeah,
all these guys. But even Cole Palmer, for that matter, is doing extremely well.
yeah.
So it's like when I see in terms of quality, oh, you guys are definitely there. It's like, quality is there, even size is there. It's just that probably, like, we haven't seen Nkunku. Like,
Yeah,
something even I'm waiting to see. Probably I'll get to see what Nkunku brings to this team, because I
yeah.
think he's the missing link right now. Because when he comes in, probably right now we see Chelsea, when probably we do predictions or something for the end of the season with the current form, you will probably place Chelsea seventh or eighth, looking at the current form. But if you have Nkunku back, probably it will change the narrative, and you guys will be someone who will be considered a top four contender or top five contender for the season. So
Nkunku.
he's
Man,
clutch.
let's not.
He's just clutch.
It's clutch, man. But we just like I said, it's just like injury woes is just unlucky, and sometimes coming off that kind of season, it's just also bad luck, dude. Like so many things
True.
were like just pure bad luck, and it's just some things are just popping up again. So as a Chelsea fan who's experienced that last season, you're like, oh no, not again, and like, oh god, not again, mate. But yeah, I mean, there's still lots I think to be seen from these boys, for sure. I think, and especially so many of them are like at a nice young, like they're ready to, you know,
Yeah,
prove their worth in the Premier League, which is all I think why everyone comes. So yeah,
true.
be interesting. It'll be interesting.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Cool. So now what I want to know from your side. is that
Yeah,
okay? Something I've noticed from my side as well, that okay, Roman versus Todd. I know Roman brought all the success, but in terms of spending, do you see that Roman was wiser, or like you see that Todd is someone who has a long term plan? Because I see Roman, the signings he made, he never made these 18, 19-year-old guys. He never signed them. He signed people who are ready
yeah,
in the prime, like 25, 26, ready to go and like come in and just kill it. Like Willian, 24 years old, he comes to Chelsea in his prime, kills it. And most of your players which you got under Roman were at the prime, whereas under Todd, there's a total shift where you see these total young players come in, like Mudrik, uh, so many, man. Madueke, like
yeah.
there's just too many to name. And all these guys have come for like nice amount of money.
Chukwuemeka,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, they've come for like 30, 40 million. Mudrik has come for 60, 70 million. I think he's come for. So like you've got all these young players, okay, and you've paid a nice amount of money for almost everyone. This from like, but what I want to know from your side is like, which strategy do you think suits better? Like what Roman did with buying players who are ready, come into the setup and get the job done, or what Todd is doing?
yeah. I mean, it's funny that like everyone says, at least the things that the sources that I read and the fan bases I'm around, wherever I see, it's like it's all about Todd saying actually copying the Arsenal model. Funnily enough, like the slow building and getting the you know b- playing with the younger squad and all the stuff we've seen in All or Nothing on and all that. Like it's for me, yeah, Chelsea, like ever since Todd came in, his strategy was just about winning. Like it was an investment for him, but he was also investing a lot in the club. And he was a businessman, but he also cared a lot for the club. I mean, that's the vibe I got from being a fan. So I think for he's kind of set a precedent there. Like Chelsea has high standards, and that's for players and also for managers. That it's either win or you're out. Doesn't matter who you are. You know. Um, I think the strategy was good for his time, and the teams we are fighting against as well, like the Uniteds, Arsenal, to some extent Arsenal were also very fired up when they came against the, doesn't matter what team it was, but it was always a tough game, dude. Like yeah, but yeah, City and all these Liverpool and all. So I mean, it's an interesting thing, mate. I think only time is gonna give us the best indication of this. But early signs are early signs are interesting. I mean, I'm still waiting for these players that they invested in, like these type of players, like who are not really already set at the world stage. They are like they are they're blooming. They're in the process of blooming. They're in the process. I think only person, as you said, right now we have who's kind of like proved himself somewhere is Nkunku, and we haven't even seen him in the Premier League. So I think yeah, I like the strategy they've taken. Actually, it's interesting. But spending 1 billion in three transfer seasons is I don't know if how that works as in business, but I know definitely there's costs and you need to stay under this. So yeah, I mean they're doing it in smarter ways. I think they are. Finding ways to give people 5-year contracts. I mean, under Roman, that was never happening. Uh, doesn't matter. You're never getting a 5-year contract, right? And players over 30 are just given 1-year contract, even if they start playing at 22, 23 in the club. They were just given 1-year contracts. Even if they've been there 7 years. So we had a clearly different policy. I think we have moved on from it, and honestly, yeah, I think like comparing them is also it's a good comparison, but again, they're completely two different. They have two different parameters because the main backing you're getting from the board and the players are completely different, and they have different. They do still see the club as an entity, like a business entity. So yeah, yeah, let's see. I think is the answer. Honestly, it's going to be
That's good,
interesting.
bro.
Yeah,
It's that's definitely like something even I thought of. Like, okay, Arsenal model. when it's mentioned, I would say in terms of the age profile you're looking at, probably that's the only
Mm.
part of the Arsenal model. Because
Yeah, yeah.
if Arsenal spent
That's what I
one
meant.
billion in three windows, I
No,
would be
no.
over the top of the moon, man. Like I'd be like, what's going on? Kroenke is doing this because
Yeah,
he's. I'm not denying we spent money over the last 3 4 seasons. We spent like a nice amount of money on players, 100 million
yeah,
this time we signed Rice and all that. So it's not that we don't spend. It's just that 1 billion if we end up spending in like three windows, I think yeah, that'll be a huge difference for Arsenal, a shock to Arsenal fans. But yeah, like as you said, like that's the one part. That's one part I see of the Arsenal model, that you get the young guys in like Mudrik and Madueke, and then all these young guys are coming in along
yeah.
with Colville, because there's some very young promising names, and
Indeed.
it's just about how would I say, like, probably all these guys probably just gelling together. Okay, at one
Yeah.
point probably that's what we expect. But again, this is there's a risk because of the 8 year contracts. There's a risk now, because what happens is when you give someone a 7 year and 8 years deal, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what if this person is not performing well after 3 seasons? Now what do you do? Because usually, generally, that's what happens. When a player is not playing after 2 seasons, he has probably 2 years remaining on his deal, and he's probably sold off in the third year
Mm,
of his contract. But in this case, it'll be like, okay, third year, and he's probably not doing well. And now what do we do? Because you
mm.
spent a bomb on that player, and after 3 seasons, if he's not doing well, then probably you'll have to take some loss on the value.
You've- You have to cut your losses, mate, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only risk I see with this approach. That okay, it's just that like, how would I say? It's much more of a gamble than what Roman Abramovich did.
Mm.
Roman spent 40 30 40 million in his time, which is probably close to 80 million in current times, on probably players, but they were all proven. Like they were proven in
Proven.
their teams.
True.
They were like really top players in their teams, and they had to just come in to the Premier League and adapt. They had no potential to prove because they'd already proven what they were worth. Whereas with
Yeah.
Todd, it's a slightly different approach. Like, and again, as I said, this the gamble is way too high. And again, the stakes are
Yeah.
high on both the sides. If they flop, you guys suffer losses. If they succeed, oh, you guys are in for a treat. It's like that.
Exactly.
It's like that. It's a
It's
huge.
high risk, high reward, dude. It's high risk, high
Yeah,
reward
yeah.
for sure.
Todd
But
Todd has taken that approach. Yeah. Whereas
uh,
Roma's approach was, I feel,
yeah,
was like low risk. Most of his
mm,
signings were low risk signings, because most of them, like if you see, they came to Chelsea and they killed it. Okay, like there's no, I don't remember except your strikers number, because that's the number 9 curse you
strikers,
had.
bro. Strikers, number nine. But then number nine curse is also still. It's end of the day. Like people make these decisions, right? If we're going to pay 50 million for this guy, and he's proven, Fernando Torres, best example. But okay, I mean, I think it's bold.
Yeah.
It's high risk, high reward. I definitely agree. But I mean, he's an American businessman with backing, so they know how to run business, So in a way, they will see it like that. So I think they know at least should look like they know what they're doing. But the initial, the initial signals you get, like hiring and firing two managers in one season, buying Lukaku, not unable to get him sold off. So these things, I think, if they can like iron it out, then they might be, you know, in for a long, successful stint. My only worry comes when like Chelsea fans will stop believing in the owners, even when the investment has been put in. And yeah, sometimes it takes time, dude. I try to give it as much time possible, but I mean, yeah, it's expectations. That's why I think as a critical, as a Chelsea fan, the main thing I try to figure out is to keep my keep balanced expectations. Especially after the last few seasons. So yeah, I think let's see. 1 billion is a lot, definitely, and it can help like any club for sure. But yeah, I think I trust them to know when to cut their losses and resell the player, and um, you know. But yeah, let's time is going to say a lot of things for sure. But I mean, even if these players they give us like a little bit, would I'm happy to just get even a little bit of investment on like return on investment on these players. To be very honest, dude. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah, like we saw Hazard, dude. Hazard joined and he was okay at like Lille, right, where he was before. And then he joined at a time, and he's 8 7 8 years there, became a legend, and that's it. Then he retired. He didn't do anything in Real Madrid, but he retired a legend, dude. So
Yep.
yeah,
Agreed.
it's gonna be
Agreed.
interesting.
Agreed there. Agreed there. Cool. So let's move on to the next part. Again,
Yeah,
now like it's like this podcast is more about like past and present. So we'll have
yeah.
to like keep going back and forth with the
True,
questions
true.
because it's the topic is such. Chelsea, like that's what the thing is. If you just take the recent past, there's not much to talk about. So you have to
Mm,
like take perspective given the size of the club and stuff like that. So yep.
yeah.
Cool. So the next part let's talk about is, do you think Pochettino is the right guy for Chelsea going forward?
Well, I mean, like I have to be honest. Like being a coming from Spurs, doesn't matter. He's a direct rival, man, and it's always going to be like that. So just like I said, you formulate this picture of Spurs manager in your mind, and you can't see them coaching Chelsea. But I had to get over that because I was like, look, he's here, it's fine. I'm sure other Chelsea fans will also have to get over it at some point, even if they're not. But again, my main thing is how is his tactical? Like, how does he set the team up? What are every player's roles? How do Chelsea react when they're down? How do they play out, or what is their style? And he's got an attacking style, but he knows what he's doing. Again, I feel he knows what he's doing. He's been in many clubs. He's coached at the highest levels. Um, I think honestly, I think they need to keep have patience with him. And the last few results, I'm happy for Poch as well because he needed to get some wins under his belt. Because that shakiness again leads to that, what happened last season, especially like is he going to be there? Is he going to even be there till the end of the season? So I think I'm not sure if he's the man for the long run, but I think to get us some stability, I think Poch is he was the best one in the market, and I think it was actually a really good signing was Poch. Considering purely his credentials, not the fact that he was coming from Spurs. Um, because of course that takes a lot of getting over, man. And I'm just also like, especially when they start losing, I'm like, yeah, this guy is a Spurs coach, man. What he's used to taking the L's. You know what I mean? So yeah, but
You're
banter
not
aside,
wrong there.
see, you would as a fan would understand. So I kid all Spurs fan. I mean, when he was watching, it's out of respect. It's just banter.
Of
It's
course.
like
Of
Spurs are
course.
on
Of
top of
course.
the league right now, so we shouldn't even be talking to. Let's be honest. But yeah,
It's not.
Poch. I think yeah, just tactically, if he can find the right thing, uh, in my view, he can definitely get some wins and some trophies under his belt, which I think will be great for him as well. But again, taking a final dig at Spurs fans, he was unable to in so many years. So at least he'll get some trophy success. So that's good. But yeah, what do you think about it, man? I mean, I don't know. What as
Before
an Arsenal fan, how do you feel seeing Poch in another direct rivals hot seat?
before I start my take on Poch, all I want to say is the channel is called All Access Arsenal. So this is the place where you take your diggers first. This is
Oh,
this
fair
is
enough.
great.
Fair enough.
So I don't know where will you take your diggers first if not for an Arsenal channel. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's just you'll see the next thing Spurs fans have left the chat. Like they're like,
Uh,
I don't want to see this video anymore.
cool
I'll
man. So
take the
yeah,
L now only. Yeah.
so now when I think of it, like Poch as a coach for Chelsea, see, like generally when Poch
Yep.
was a Spurs, like he did some good things. Okay, even as an Arsenal fan, we were in the end of Wenger years and like start of Emery era, sort of that phase. I guess
Yep.
we were, yeah, we were in that phase. So at that time, like I'll be honest, we were not doing extremely well, but we used to beat Tottenham for some reason or the other. We used to beat them here and there. So now when I see that, okay, Tottenham, like what he did with Tottenham, I saw that okay, from where he got them to what level, like he was. But I really like the job he did at Southampton with the young players more than what he did at Tottenham. I feel that bringing in the likes of Sadio Mane. Virgil van Dijk. These are like top-notch players who, like, he nurtured at Southampton, and these just ended up becoming top players in their clubs across Europe, and all of them ended up winning something big.
Right.
Same with Tottenham. I think he produced some, like, I think Son became a real good player under him,
Yep.
became a proper threat under him, and then I
Harry
know
Kane, mate. Best
Harry Kane,
example, right?
Harry Kane, Harry Kane, Harry Kane. Like he's done a lot of, like, he has this thing about nurturing these young players and making them, like, top stars, like identifying the potential, making them what, like, top notch players. So this is, I feel, is this biggest strength more than anything, and that's why probably he failed at PSG, because PSG he was surrounded by divas. So and the thing is, it's just wrong to judge a manager from PSG. Like, no matter who
Mm.
goes there, like, you look at Luis Enrique has gone there. Okay, he has Mbappe, Asensio, and all to his disposal, and he loses 4-1 to Newcastle. Okay, so it's nothing to do with the manager or the players. Okay, like PSG as a club, like, it's just wrong to judge anyone there, because the situation is just so messed up.
Yep.
Who controls? No one knows. Mbappe decides a coach, or Al Khilafi decides a coach. No one knows. But then the thing is, that's what Poch. And but when I've seen him, like, he's a guy who's like humble, very very
Mm.
humble. Like, I've noticed in press conferences and all. Even in the past, he's very humble, straightforward, to the point. And as I see the game which he developed at Tottenham, the game which he had with Southampton, like, that kind of football, I feel, as you said, to be that person in Chelsea who becomes the bridge between becoming that Chelsea again, of,
Yep.
like, winning Champions League and doubles and stuff like that. I think
Yeah.
he's a good bridge for now. I see him as that. Probably he could become the one who wins you the Premier League again. Okay. He
Mm.
could be. It's just that I don't see him doing that. Like, given the current quality of the other managers and his current quality out there, I see he's good enough to bring in the stability, as you said, that you'll become a club which wins the FA Cup, which wins the Carabao Cup, and finishes second or third in the league, and probably makes it to, like, quarterfinals of Champions League. I think
Yeah,
like
man.
realistically, like realistically, I see him. He's capable of delivering you that. He can give you, like, that is what for sure you can get out of him. If you just give him time, he'll definitely bring that out. And given that, okay, the young players factor is already there with you, where, like, he can definitely develop them into probably a lot more world class players like Colville, Mudrik, Madueke, Jackson. So you have a nice core of young players to support him. But then again, that's the whole deal here. That I know 1 billion has been spent. I know all the numbers. You need to keep it aside. You need to just think of it logically. These are 18, 19-year-old players. This manager has spent less than 6 months at the club. You need
Yep.
to give them the time. They need the time. This manager definitely needs time. These players need the time. So the bottom line for me would be with Pochettino that no matter what, like, you need to give him time. Like, I know, as a, like, I've never seen this in Chelsea. Like, sadly, I've never seen this, that any manager got the time they deserve. Like, Tuchel for me, I
Yeah.
feel, was the, oh my goodness, that was the worst thing to do as a club, when you have that kind of a manager. But then, yeah, man, like, you guys need to give at least Poch time to get going, because only then the stability which you expect is going to come. Because sacking Poch is starting from scratch,
True.
and yeah, that's what you don't want again. That, okay, like, after the last season and stuff like that, go to scratch again after spending 1 billion. No, you don't need that.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the last thing I'm pretty sure everyone at the club wants, from right the top level to the players to the managers. So
Yep.
definitely I see him as a bridge as well, but I think it's a double-edged sword as well, right? Because he'll be loved if he wins it, but he'll also be hated if he starts losing because he's an easy target to say like, okay, it's the manager's fault. Even
Agreed.
last season that happened that, oh, it's the manager's fault, sack him. It's where it's unable, like we're unable to like really say whether Potter would have succeeded at Chelsea. I don't know if he had these kind of players, if he had his own players, maybe he would have had a chance to uh, succeed. So it's really hard to say. Uh, but yeah, definitely, I'm looking forward to Pochettino. I think mainly just developing the players, all these younger squad that he's got, and And yeah, as you, like the best examples, he really built the Southampton players and the the players at Spurs as well, who are like now really blossoming in their prime, man, and some have blossomed already. And so yeah, again, expectations I think have to be high, and I think even if he wins it, like let's say he does win a cup or two, and that's great. But if he's not winning the Premier League, then there's always that high standards again, what I mentioned, right? Which I don't know if the owners have understood it as yet, but one thing for sure, I am the fans are going to make them uh, well aware of that if we don't perform, or if we are not getting those trophies which we are actually aiming for, which is the Premier League. And the first thing is has to be the Premier League. So yeah.
100%, 100% agree there. That Premier League is something like,
Yeah.
you guys need to be back. That's the primary target. I think that's even as Arsenal
Yeah.
fans. If you ask me that before winning the Champions League, I would want to win the Premier League this season more than the Champions League. I want Arsenal to go out there and win it. So
Yep.
yeah, man. Now that we are talking of Arsenal, Chelsea, and all. Okay, so I just want your take on how this Arsenal Chelsea rivalry has evolved over the last, say, like 6 7 years. Now I guess more than that, maybe 8 years. Given these players are moving to each other's clubs, like Giroud going there, Czech coming
Oh,
here,
yeah.
then Havertz coming here recently, Jorginho coming this way,
Yeah.
and this season even Smith Rowe was linked, and now Ramsdale is linked. That okay, he'll probably be will receive a bid from Chelsea for Ramsdale. So, like usually, like I'll be honest, like when we talk about rivalries, like when a player crosses a path and goes to United, like Van Persie he did. Okay, now we don't even look at we're like okay, he's a snake and stuff like that, and players just don't accept him. Yeah, we don't accept him. But the thing is,
True. True.
Giroud went and like we celebrated Giroud. Like he's won the Champions League. Like even as an Arsenal fan, I felt so good seeing that okay, Giroud win the Champions League. Like I did not like the sight of Percy lifting the Premier League title with United. Like I hated it.
True.
But like there's
True.
something like there's something different about like how this rivalry is evolved that probably we're looking at it. Like I just want your take on this.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it just adds to the narrative, doesn't it? And with Havertz and Jorginho going in the last 12, 24 months, mate, I think it's just definitely added to that narrative. But from my point of view, like, of course, there will be Chelsea fans who will be like, and I think it would happen in any club, right? If they go to a direct rival, you would first be like, how can they do that? You feel like they have broken a sacrilegious law or something. But I mean, like we also joke about it many times, right? Should be like it's like, oh, if we sign him now, that means he's going to end up at yours like in a few years or something like that. So Mudrik, even if he stole him from you all, might end up at Arsenal at some point. Who knows, right? So it's now it's like a as you said, it's a long standing rivalry for sure. But I think we also have to see where this rivalry started. Like we were not competing with Arsenal during the Henry days and all, mate. Like we were not there, and it came only in this whole Roman era, and we started having more like tougher competitions. I still remember SEN scoring that cracker on that day, and it was so important, bro. Because if we hadn't drawn that game, we wouldn't have won the PL that season. That was important. If we had lost those 2 points, so I think that rivalry has evolved so organically as well because of the positions of both the clubs over the last few years, the last decade, I would say, are almost the same amount of time. Like we have grown up watching them, like it's evolved quite considerably. So for me, like honestly, when Czech went, I think that was the biggest for me. Like I was like, oh my god, if Czech can go to Arsenal. Then and we respected him there as well. In fact, we were like I would say Chelsea were at a better stage that time, like winning stuff. No disrespect, of course. It was just like whatever you guys are going through. But uh, I mean, I still remember, mate, that Hazard, especially since Hazard retired recently, he scored that solo goal. He dinked it over Czech, bro. And I was just like, should I feel good about this? Should I feel bad about this? And it's happening at the bridge, at Czech's favorite like side where he's like done a lot of things for us. So I don't know whether to feel like bad, but now like looking at players like Havertz and Jorginho and I think I told you about this like when the last game as well, like when you guys beat City, I Jorginho filled in his position. For me, he was the Jorginho I had seen when we were like doing well under Tuchel. Like those days, like he was that controlling presence. He was that, and he's running around. Of course, he's not the same, but he was controlling the ball, making space, coming for the short balls, making sure the pass is getting distributed, and helping his midfield and wingers and strikers out, which is what he does. Sometimes he put those long range balls as well. It was great to see. So for me, from my point of view, I'll be really happy if uh, Georgie or Kai they win something with you guys, especially the PL, and especially if you'll beat all these teams doing it. So like I said, it adds to the narrative, and it's also good that it's at this time that you guys are coming home. So it's literally Kai and Jorginho are coming to Chelsea, playing against Chelsea for the first time uh, next weekend. So it's gonna be like, oh my god, like it's gonna be weird to see them, but honestly, I'll be very happy for them. I don't mind if they'd rather be at Arsenal at a top competing London club than any other, London club for sure, right? So yeah, it's evolved like crazy, mate. Like, and even Pochettino coming, like, beating you guys, that will also add little fuel to the fire, right? Because of his first connections. But yeah, I think even between the fans, mate, there's a little bit of like, maybe I don't know about the Twitter folk, or but generally the realistic, like, the more practical fans, there's a mutual respect, and it's like, okay, cool, like, no matter how much we banter, no matter how much I think it was a good buy as well from you guys, and he's proving it. I think Kai is the best example, mate. Like, he's proving it. He's bringing that value for you guys, what he brought for us. So I will still see him as a very top player, and I hope he gets to the best for him, as you said, like for Giroud. Same feeling, bro. But yeah, definitely adds some spice, especially if you know they do like something in their game, bro. Like, they'll make a bad tackle, or play like that little negative or toxic, and or abuse the fans or something. If that happens, then it's like, like, we didn't have to do that. I felt that when Mourinho came back and he was like, 3 titles. I won 3 titles, telling the fans. So imagine the
Yeah,
toxicity that the fans give
yeah,
when
yeah.
at the bridge. So I was like, oh man, you don't have to do that. You're crossing a line. These guys
But I
won you
think
everything.
it's with these old school players and old school managers, who'll do this toxic stuff and all that. These
Yeah,
new guys are a little
yeah,
like
yeah,
chill out, yeah. Like they like I don't see them like like they're
yeah,
like
yeah.
okay, you remember
True,
Mudrik like that,
true.
they put laser on his face, and next day
Very
he
true.
puts up a story saying it's okay. I'm like,
It's
oh,
okay. I mean,
it's
look, it's
it's a
you
generational
have to
difference,
step
bro.
up, bro. But you have
Yeah,
to step up. Even if it's a rivalry, it's a rivalry. Even for them, they will know, like, okay, But that's where the manager is also important, I think. But I don't know, like, that's that aspect I don't understand. Does Pochettino really get that part of it? Of course, he's faced you guys so many times, but will he see it as like his Spurs side he's taking to beat you guys? He's got us now. So how's he going to see that? For me, that's going to be interesting. How do we interact with our own manager if we lose to a direct rival, and especially
yeah,
if it's you guys? So it's just so many moving parts to this this narrative. Arsenal Chelsea, Chelsea Arsenal, since it's at the bridge as well, so it's got that
yeah.
even more.
I
So
know, I know, I know. And this
yeah,
is exactly what when I think of it that okay, the rivalry as I see till one point I would say like till 2007 or 7 8 I would still say like Arsenal we had just arrived at the Emirates and we were still considered title contenders at the start of each season that okay Arsenal will contend for a title and we used to go
yeah,
for the title till Jan or something. After that we collapsed. So it was
yeah,
a trend back then under Wenger, and then we finished third, fourth or something. It was common, and then like that's what I noticed. Then post 2008 I felt that the gap got too big. Like you guys just became better post the Champions League win under Di Matteo.
yeah,
Like I think that created a bigger gap between Arsenal and Chelsea. The gap just got huge, and then it remained that way till I would say till 2017. Like 2017 was the time. Then I remember that okay, we beat you guys at Emirates or something. Or Sanchez and Ozil had scored the goals. Opening goal. Conte was the coach, and we beat you guys 3-1 at the Emirates. After a long time, we beat Chelsea. So
yeah,
that was a change. And before that, all those 6-0 at Stamford Bridge and this stuff, that stuff. So it was like all it was one sided for a long. period of time. And then post 2017, it evolved till 2021. It was like sort of getting there, and we expected that okay, both clubs will get to a point beyond the transition and they'll be there, and we didn't
Yeah.
see that. Unfortunately, we didn't see that. We saw like okay, Chelsea with the whole Abramovich change went on another direction. Arsenal that same season went on a totally different direction. So it's like that's what my whole thing is, that okay, I just hope that this game is like even. Okay, that's what I'm hoping, this game to be even. That okay, it's at Stamford Bridge, Arsenal are in good form, but Chelsea are the home team. That should
Mm.
be the vibe. Like that's what, like that's the most important, because that's what happened to us when we went to Palace. Like yes, we were the better team, we were in form, we were higher in the table, but for some reason those guys just made it difficult for us. Same goes for Everton. Like Everton, but the thing is, okay, Everton were very defensive. I don't expect Chelsea to play seven at the back and six at the back. But
Yeah.
again, they made our lives difficult. Everton made our lives difficult. Palace made our lives difficult. Okay, so like that's what, like I'm expecting that okay, if Palace and Everton can make it so difficult for us, I'm expecting Chelsea to go a notch higher, and probably instead of losing it 1-0, probably keep it at 1-1 for like a high portion of the game. Keep
Yeah.
that sort of a game. I want that. Like okay, we are 1-1 till 75 minutes, 85 minutes, and then probably that one person comes and makes a difference. Could be Kai or could be Mudrik.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, oh fuck. I mean, imagine that adding to like it just
yeah,
adds more things to the narrative. So yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
agree, mate. I
So
agree.
like yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is. Kai Mudrik coming in and like them scoring a winner. Probably that's what spice up the rivalry again. Because right now there's
Mm,
no spice in the rivalry. To be very honest,
true.
last season you had Potter. Potter was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Arsenal play well. Our boys played well." Like, bro, where's the where's the bite? Like Mourinho when he
Yeah.
used to come
Bite.
to Emirates and he used to be like, "Oh, for the first time they beat
Mm,
me. That's why I see so happy they're going home. I see them smiling.
true.
Like some a little bit of a bite
Yeah,
to
but
add to
see,
the rival."
as you said, bro, I don't think we are going to expect the managers to bring that. Maybe Arteta might say, who knows? Arteta has that aspect to him about him.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Poch, I don't know if he'll react also, honestly. I don't think we're going to see that from the managers. But like from the players, definitely. Like like as you said, bro, like I expect us to be the home team and take the game to you guys.
yeah.
Anything else less is like it's not reaching those standards again. Like it comes down to that high standards. And but again, it all goes down to like understanding the rivalry, bro. Seeing the history,
True.
which I'm sure is a culture at both clubs, especially. But especially since the last few years, right? But either way, man, like I've never seen Arsenal as doesn't matter those 6-0s and all. Yeah, dude. I was going to ask you how you felt about Fabregas chipping. I still remember it was like 4-0 or final. He just chipped.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think somebody he just check only. I guess it was
No, no, no. It wasn't check.
or
It was
somebody else.
Chesney. It was Chesney.
Chesney, somebody I remember the ball was given and Fabregas chipping and he's scoring like the
Yeah.
fourth, fifth goal and so yeah. But that bite, dude, that bite and that for me it comes in the game. Like like it shouldn't be the one thing I'm not looking forward to is them canceling each other out. Like a nil-nil draw or like
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
1-0 or something feeling like, that rivalry will continue to remain dormant. It's not really coming to the fore again,
I know.
even though
I
we
know.
have the players. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Agreed. 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 Very much there. Like like especially when you like the point that okay, you need that kind of a game. Like last season, what I feel was that okay, Aubameyang tried it, but I think
Mm.
he just it went against him. Like he was
But
like he tried with the
But
video and all.
was it really his call? Like it was just a team. Honestly,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
like the back room social
It's
media
a
just trying to like
social
yeah,
media
you
attempt,
know,
and the thing is that attempt sort of backfired because Oba was targeted in that game by Arsenal players. Like like
yeah,
they were like, okay, it just fired Arsenal up a lot. Like
true,
rather than it
true.
should be something that that okay fires you guys up and as well as sort of unnerves us. Okay, that didn't unnerve us. That sort of like
Yeah,
fired us up. We were like fired up, and we had gone to Stamford Bridge because we were like, okay, this guy's made the video. And probably I'm
true.
sure Mikel Arteta must have showed the video in the
Oh
pre-match
yes.
game to his
I
players, and he's like,
mean,
look what this guy is saying.
I wouldn't have believed that if I hadn't seen All or Nothing. honestly. And when I saw
Yeah,
it, and I was like, oh, he actually takes it personally. Which,
yeah.
but bro, he was ex-Arsenal captain. Of course, he's gonna take it
Of course,
personally.
he got to take it
You know,
personally.
if we had John Terry or someone, he would be like. That's why we had Frank Lampard. When we had Lampard, we still had this edge because we had Lampard at the head. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
but I mean, yeah, it was a different time. It was a different core, but he at least drilled that in his players that it's Arsenal. You have to stay at your
yeah.
100%. You have to feel like it's a to make it like a rivalry in their heads.
I know, I
That
know.
could lead them to taking rash decisions on the field, definitely, or actually giving that extra edge, as you said, or doing something. And even
True.
like you're a Reece Nelson moment, dude. Like exactly
Yeah,
like a Reece Nelson moment. Like somebody having their Eddie moment, or something like that.
one of that,
Yeah,
one of that, definitely.
yeah,
So yeah, man, cool. Now let's talk about this one player, okay,
yeah.
which we both our clubs like a lot, Mikhailo Mudrik. Okay,
Indeed.
so like, what's your take on this guy? Like, I'll definitely provide my take on him, definitely, with keeping all that he can does for Chelsea and all that aside. Definitely, I'll give you a take. But I want your take
Yeah.
on him. How do you see like the money you spent 70 million on him, and now okay, he's got like one goal in
Yeah.
all these games. So how do you see him like as a player?
Yeah, I think he's a very interesting player. Again, one of those pacey, young, uh, ready to burst on the scene kind of players. Like, gives me, I mean, even now when I not exactly Hazard vibes, but he gives me this winger, fast winger vibes, like Robben or someone. Not that close control, but someone we used to always have like on the wing, going really fast and then coming in and either crossing or just fucking scoring. I think his initial struggles have been uh, interesting to see. Like, definitely frustrating from a Chelsea fan's point of view because, again, it goes back to that thing. Do we expect instant? Like, we spend 70 that someone will be like, okay, this guy is already proven, even though he was not. Like, um, in the Ukrainian league was, with all due respect to the Ukrainian league, but it's not the Premier League. So he had to adapt there. It was definitely a lot of struggles initially, and he's still adapting. You can see him; he's adapting, even through socials and all. He's putting in the effort. He's trying to stay humble at least, although we see him playing Counter Strike and all. That's separate. But yeah, I think he's got the room for growth. I think he can bloom, he can blossom, and I think as you've told me many times, mate, I think Pochettino's the right guy for these kind of players. Um, can he get the best out of him? Is he going to play him in the right position? Is he going to play him week in week out? He took him off that day after for 45 minutes, even though he scored a brilliant goal in my view. Well taken goal. Uh, but yeah, man, I think he's got that potential, and I think he will definitely come along. He's got some partnership also with Nico Jackson. You can see sometimes they do connect, especially in the last Burnley game. If you've seen, they did have a little bit of chemistry there. In fact, that's something I spotted even in the preseason games, dude. It was this. I think the Premier League has some summer thing in the United States. Recently, they started PL series, summer series or something. They had some really good link ups, and Kunku was also on the side. So Nkunku was adding to this. So maybe if these three can gel, I think there's definitely going to be a lot of potential for Mudrik to shine. Um, but yeah, I think it's all it's and how do we also receive him? I mean, we have paid a lot of money for him, like as fans. Like, have we endeared ourselves to him as yet? I mean, I always see potential when he's like, "Oh, Mudrik's on the ball," something's going to happen, or he's going to make a run, or when I see like somebody going to pass it to Mudrik, just put him through, man. He'll run because he's got the pace, he's got that explosiveness to it. You know,
True.
but also sometimes you see on the other side where he's kicking the ball like like Nico Jackson, same thing, bro. It goes to like moon and all, and you're like, okay, eventually they'll take their chances, right? We paid money for them, but okay, guys, come on, it's the fucking Premier League, it's the top level. We need you to start scoring, Uh, but I don't know if it's an individual thing, individual mentality thing, or is it a team thing. I think it's both. So it's an interesting one. Mikhailo Mudrik is an interesting one. Also, being Ukrainian, the whole narrative of the war and all that stuff. Like, how's he going to survive? How's he going to, adapt? He'll need to. He's already gone through so much hardships. He's going
Of
through more
course.
hardships, taking fans slack, and Arsenal fans. We saw the video just from today. He's rubbing it in his face. So I think for him, it's a psychological thing. Once he gets past that psychological barrier, then I think he can perform. Then he just goes out and he plays. He's not worried about it. Of course, he needs to adapt to the Premier League, so you need to have the strength to do that, control and precision to finish. But yeah, I mean that's just from what I see. What do you think about it, Mr. Mudrik?
Agreed. Agreed. So see, Modric, I'll tell you one thing. One thing I've noticed since Edu and Arteta have come in, that whatever they scout is not like
Yeah,
just anything. Like when if Arsenal with Edu and Arteta went with 60-65 million to Shakhtar for Modric, that means the player's worth something. Because if you see the last
true.
few Arsenal signings, whoever they've been under Edu and Arteta, these guys have come in and worked. No matter who we sign, like last season also, before that you saw Ben White coming from Brighton,
Yeah,
you saw Ramsdale come in. Then last year you had Zinchenko come in. Okay, you had like, so you have these players coming in, and the thing is like, you see that okay, it's not that these guys are just like any players. They just, for some reason they just always work out. Even when Mudrik was linked, he did seem like a profile that who's going to come in and he's going to be a strong backup to Martinelli.
yeah,
That was the idea. He's going to play on the left. He's going to be a strong backup to Martinelli because we needed some backup on the left. We had no one, and we didn't get. So you guys got Mudrik, we got
true.
Trossard there. So that was the thing. So now Trossard plays on the left. So our idea was that okay, Mudrik will come in, and we definitely saw him as a special player. Okay, as Arsenal fans, the narrative around Arsenal fans was that okay, this guy's gonna come in, he's gonna take 3-4 years, and he's going to evolve like Gabriel Martinelli has.
True.
So that was our idea with Modric, and definitely the quality is there because you have the. I'll be honest, like I know Chelsea signed him, but even you got to agree that Arsenal scouted him for you. Okay,
For
like
sure.
definitely Arsenal did the hard work there of
Hard
scouting, and
work.
they
Yeah.
yeah, and they got you and the thing is Arsenal scouts are like really good. So definitely the player has something special. Definitely has something special. It's just that I feel that under a coach with or under a system with a lot more stability like Arsenal or under a coach like Arteta, probably he would have flourished a lot quicker than he's doing at Chelsea. Under Chelsea, the club is going through a transition. The system is changing from Potter
Mm,
to Pochettino. Even that guy is seeing a lot of changes. At
mm,
Arsenal, given as you said that there's a level of instability in his life, uncertainty that given war is on his place. His parents live
mm.
in Ukraine. His parents don't even live in London.
Oh, they
So
still
I'm
live
sure,
there.
yeah, they still live there. They're like teachers there, like yeah. So it's like how would I say, like I'm sure that guy, he's too young also, like 2021, okay, and he's going through this level of uncertainty living here. Probably I feel that okay, at a club like Arsenal where like the system is stable, the rest of the stuff is stable, this guy can focus on his game and then like keep his focus
Mm,
elsewhere. Right now I think there's a lot of other stuff going around him. There's a lot of stuff going around him which is probably holding him back from discovering what he should be doing best. Because, as I said, at Arsenal, probably you would have seen he comes in Jan, and by March or something, you see the best of Modric. Like, what do you expect him to be a flashy, pacey winger coming from the
yeah.
left side, scoring those goals and creating those chances. So, again, you saw glimpses of that in Chelsea. You've seen glimpses, but again, as I said, that I think the more you give young players a stable system and
Platform.
a stable platform, a stable environment around the club where okay everything is stable. You need to give them stability for their potential to rise. So I think as Chelsea gets stable, Mudrik will get better. That's my
Very
this
true.
thing. And I don't see him be a flop. Like a lot of people are saying that okay he'll flop, and
Yeah.
it's just unfair to say that because I'll be honest, if Chelsea sell him tomorrow thinking he'll be a flop, trust me, it'll be a huge mistake because he's gonna go somewhere else to a stable system. He's gonna realize his potential within six
Yeah.
seven months, and he's gonna show up. Okay, and
We're gonna have a Kevin De Bruyne, Momo Salah, same vibe, bro. Same.
KDB, something of that vibe will definitely come in, and that's what you don't want anymore. Like
True.
like you, these players, these are your young players. You want to keep them. Same, I feel for Madueke as well. And
Yeah.
Madueke, I think he can be really, really, he can be a very good player. To be honest,
But I think it's also a little bit down to the players, mate. Like Madueke was late to training after one day he was out partying. Like, okay, I mean, all due respect to him, he's at that
Yeah,
age, fine. But I think that also comes with being at a club like Chelsea. You know, you're at the posh part of London. You have that
true,
this you I understand
true.
that, you know, but it's not like we don't have that system. At least I would think we already would have that system in place. We had these young young Coles all the time, Tammy Abrahams, the Mason Mounts. It came through all our Reece James. Have come through our systems, bro. So
Hmm.
you know, but I think that's the groundwork that was done. But I think what you're talking about is that stability,
Yeah,
that system that Mikel has found for you
yeah,
guys, you know,
exactly, exactly.
which I wouldn't have, honestly, like I said, I wouldn't have known also about it. Like if I hadn't seen it visually myself, and I saw that, and it's very evident in those documentaries, dude. He's trying to build that, and it took him time. It took him that one season. You'll finish fourth.
Yeah,
Last season you'll finish second. So slowly think before that you'll finish eighth under him.
yeah,
So he's seen that. He's seen that, and I think definitely he would have got that platform at Arsenal. But at the same time, it's uh, it's that kind of market, dude. Like
yeah,
scouting or not, like sometimes you can be that kind of a vulture in the market as well.
yeah.
You
Of
know,
course, of course.
we did that with Villian as well. If I remember correctly, I think it was
The
Villian.
Spurs,
Yeah,
William,
Spurs. Or
Spurs.
and did we do that with you guys also with some other
No,
player?
no,
Like
no, no, no.
this is the
You guys,
first time it happened.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah. The hijack. It has happened
Hijack.
to us. It has happened to us before. I don't remember. I guess no, it happened to us with Higuain when Napoli hijacked the move.
Ah,
When Higuain was
yes.
coming to Arsenal from Real Madrid and Napoli hijacked the move. But this is the first time Chelsea is coming for any player. This is the
Yeah.
first time. But in a way, I feel like okay, Modric was taken, but we still got Trossard because of that. So I won't complain. I won't complain. That guy's been really really good.
Yeah.
Trossard, like he's coming and he's
He's
just made a
been.
difference.
That's very true, mate. Like, but in the last game, I think he was a little bit missing. I think he was taken off in the last against City in the halftime. I think
He's not
for
supposed to be a
Martinelli.
start. He's not supposed to be a
He was
starter. To
not a
be honest,
starter. Yeah. Yeah.
he's not a starter. He's supposed to be that player coming on from the bench in 70th minute when you're like 1-1 and you need this guy to make a difference. That's what he did at Brighton also. If you see, like he was like the poacher,
Yeah.
like going from the sides. And
Sides.
I feel like again against Man City, he's not a starter. He's not. He shouldn't be a starter because against Man City you need to
Yeah.
play a starting 11. So on the left is Martinelli. Martinelli is the starter. It's just that he was unfit, so Trossard started.
Yeah.
In any other
True.
given day, Trossard wouldn't start against City for sure. I can see Trossard starting against these small clubs for sure, like like Burnley or
Yeah.
something, Luton Town and all. He can start, he can score, but against City and Chelsea and all, I doubt he'll start.
Mm.
So yeah, man, about
Yeah.
Modric,
Just
that's what I feel like. Okay, definitely, you guys have got a hand on a good player. It's as I said, you need to give him time. You need to give him time. It's just
time.
that if
Time.
and again the fans need to be patient because what I see is that with Chelsea fans is that they get too emotional too easily and they start attacking players a lot more than they should. Okay, like right now, it's you need to understand that whole perspective. Mudrik is a 21-year-old whose parents are in Ukraine and he is just moved to London for the first time. He moved out of his country. Okay, he has to adapt, and not just he's adapting to a club like Wolves or Burnley or something. No, it's Chelsea. The demands are
Yeah.
different. There's a price tag added to him. So there's a lot going through. And you're just 21, man. You're just 21, bro. Like, come on. And the thing is, that's what I see. A lot of these Chelsea fans, they are so like they overreact to this whole Modric situation. Like, to be very honest,
Yeah.
I see the thing is when you hold your guns at Enzo, I have no complaint because Enzo is a
Mm.
proven guy. You paid the money for him. He's won the World Cup. Okay, you ask him questions. You're supposed to ask him questions. But
Yeah.
this is not something you should be doing to a player like Mudrik or a Cole Palmer, to be honest, at this stage. You need to give these guys a time. You will see glimpses from them. They'll play some games, they'll play well. Some games you see them, they'll fuck up. But then this is the thing about young players. We have seen this with Bukayo Saka. Over the years,
Very true.
we've seen he has bursts, he plays some
Oh,
games
mate.
very well, some he was gone. But now he's the main player. Like without him, we're nothing. To be honest, we
Yeah.
need him. He's our main player. He's our star player. So you need to give these young players the time so that you get the best out of them.
Mate, I totally agree. Honestly, I've been guilty of doing the same thing, reacting, having reactive thoughts and emotionally driven thoughts against these players because they come with a big price tag. Because the way I see it, being at Chelsea, uh, you need to compete at the highest level. You're there for a reason. Again, it goes back to that standards, the high standards we have set for ourselves in the last 20 years. So
Agreed.
as a fan, also you expect that to that level to be matched. So even if the player is running 200%, giving that is putting the tackles, I'll still take it. I don't matter if you don't score or whatever. Like fine, I'll take it. But maybe that's me. But even my first reaction is that, oh, especially when these kind of players they're missing or they're not performing, I'm just like, you know, why did we pay so much money for you? But then I also have to think like practically and empathize and also understand the market. So yeah, I think it's in Chelsea fans' best interest to separate that emotion, that reactive emotion, because I've struggled with it as well. Um, I remember I tell you I watched it with my girlfriend. Both of us and like the reactions I have is like, man, like come on, like at least put the tackle in, at least go in, like those kind of things, like at least shoot, like those kind of things. You know, I'm like
I
at
know.
least give it your 100%. I don't mind. I'll clap for you. But doing things not interested, don't feel like playing. That is not acceptable. And honestly, I don't see that with Mudrik. I see he puts in, he runs, he's got some things, he's got a mental thing, as you said. It's
Yeah.
a lot of things that are affecting him outside of football that he needs to work on. And I mean, Bukayo Saka, the best example, mate. He missed a penalty at the Euro semi-finals or finals, right? Missed a
Finals,
penalty,
finals,
and he
finals.
was 18-year-old, and now he's like a given penalty taker. Like now he just got that mental fortitude, bro. He's
He's
built
a
it
given
because
starter for England, bro. He's a given starter for
he
England,
had
and yeah,
yeah, he had to build it, mate. He had to
yeah,
survive. You have to survive. You have to. It's cutthroat competition. So if they understand that aspect, that they are at that kind of club and that's the culture, even we're trying to rebuild or whatever, Poch is doing it, or everyone, whoever is working in the backroom staff and the players themselves. Like James is our captain, mate. He's from the Chelsea academy. He should be driving this. I'm sure he is, mate. I'm
yes,
sure
for
he
sure,
is. So
for sure.
I think it goes down. The onus is also on these players, in my view. That's I think a lot of the frustration. I don't speak for all Chelsea fans, of course. I speak for myself,
Yeah,
but that's where this frustration comes. Where we're like, come on, we paid so much. That's like, okay, you got to start performing at some time. Others, you don't deserve to be here. Simple. But again,
that's
I mean, that's just the fans' point of view. As a player, they've made it right. Like for them, Chelsea comes calling for you. It's a big, like Caicedo, best example is Chelsea. He will make that move. Doesn't matter. You know,
of
he'll say
course,
no
of
to
course,
Liverpool also.
of
So
course.
yeah, the players doing that also a little bit endear themselves to the fans, where they're like, no, they chose Chelsea. They want to be here. So as a
Hmm.
Chelsea fan, I see it as maybe not a complete hijack because the choice was still his. Both the
Yep,
table offers are on the table, mate. Like you guys also
yep,
made an offer. We just made an offer a little bit more. It was still
yep,
his choice. He chose
yep.
Chelsea.
Agreed.
So for whatever reasons. So I'm like, okay, if you made that choice, then you need to perform. Otherwise, go to Arsenal, mate. Go to any other club. It may be better for you. We'll take that 1% of that KDB or Salah or some sort of a thing coming. Those kind of players coming back and haunting us. We'll take it. At least I would take it, mate. But that just means you were not like the quality expected at Chelsea. Unfortunately, at that time, you know.
Definitely,
Same thing
definitely.
happened with Salah, bro. It's the exact same example. He was in a Mourinho team, and he did have his this, but he couldn't break into the team because Mourinho just felt he was not putting his 100% in training or whatever. He went to a different club. He flourished, as you said, and that's
Mhm.
possible. And then he comes back and he's like completely dominating now. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I'll take that chance. Honestly, I hope it doesn't happen, but yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, as you said, it's very much correct that it's on the players also to like
Yeah,
it's on the players to like show that okay they want it,
yeah,
and as you said very well, Modric does show. He does show there's an effort, okay, that he wants to do something. Whereas last season, when you compare some of
yeah.
your players like Mason Mount and all, they were like clear. Kai Havertz and all, like fuck the shit. Like, we're not playing. Like, okay, like, let it be.
Ziyech, Kai Havertz, all these players
Ziyech,
were
Kai
like,
Havertz.
they lost the interest to play for Chelsea, and it's like
Champions League winners. They were Champions
yeah.
League winners like two
I
years
think they
ago.
peaked, bro. They peaked, and then they were like on the like they were like, okay, did it, whatever, cool. Like they didn't have that motivation to stay at Chelsea
Yeah.
and try to become the Premier League champions, and all this, this uncertainty, all these guys getting sacked and all that. That also added to that.
Of course, of course. That
Yeah,
definitely adds in because as fans we see it, from the outside, but these guys
yeah,
go through it every day. Like, they go to
yeah.
training every day, then they see at
True,
Cobham,
true.
okay, things have changed, this guy's changed. And
Yeah,
like
Sunday,
it's like
bro.
just like
He had two managers, and he's
I know
injured for the eight more.
when he got injured, there was Tuchel. When he came back, he's like, there's no Tuchel, there's
There's
Potter,
no
there's no
Tuchel.
Jorginho, there's no none of his old mates are there, bro. All old mates have gone, and these new guys like Madueke, Mudrik, and all have come in. Like
Oh my God. He had Potter, then Potter got sacked, then he had that
Potter
other
got sacked.
Bruno. Then he
Yeah, yeah,
was like,
yeah.
what's happening?
And then Lampard was back for some
Lampard,
time.
yeah. There was too much
Uh,
instability, man.
too much,
Yeah.
too much, too much instability. If I forgot that Bruno was there, bro. My
Yeah,
goodness,
Bruno
bro.
was there. Lampard
Bruno
was
was
there.
there.
There was three
Now I
managers,
remember
bro.
Bruno
Three
was there, bro.
managers in 4 managers in one season, bro,
In one
including Tuchel.
season, one season, one season. Of course, bound to be like
Incredible.
uncertainty is bound to be there. Cool,
Yeah.
bro. So let's
Let's move on.
get to the
Yeah.
final topic of this episode, and let's talk
Yeah.
about your predictions for the next game, which is Chelsea versus Arsenal.
Well, I mean that's gonna be interesting one. As we started at like as we spoke at the starting of the episode, it's just that both the teams have good momentum. You all are
Yeah,
coming off that huge win, although the UCL loss was a little bit unexpected, I would say. And I guess even you guys had discussed that, broken that down in your last episode. But
yeah,
that moment is still there, and I think both teams will want to be wanting to capitalize that. And onus is still on us. We're the home team. We want to be able to beat you guys and um, get those 3 points, get that continuing stability. For me, it's going to be a tough one, mate. I've given it a lot of thought, especially since you told me about it. I've given it a lot of thought and trying to put all the things that we know, all these moving parts. I would try to come up with a prediction, but I'm thinking it's either going to be y'all edging it, like by a goal maybe, or a draw. Like teams are going to go all out, like a 2-2, like how the North London derby was. Maybe
mhm.
that could be that moment where the Sterlings come to the fore, the Mudriks. And that's how I see it as myself, as a Chelsea fan. But I mean, if it's just form, and then you know, I'm trying not to be like dismissive of Chelsea. I know we'll score a goal, but we'll just not have that edge to beat you guys. That's how I feel. Either that, or it's going to be like nip and tuck. I don't see us winning, but of course, as a fan, you want them to go there and get a nice 2-0
Of
and just
course,
be like, okay, cool, take the clean sheet as well. But yeah,
of course, of course, of course. Like,
what
but
about
it's a
yeah,
so for me, I think it'll be mostly as I see it as a 2-2 uh happening. Okay,
yeah,
if not 2-2, uh see, like I would say that like the most likely scenario as I see is 2-2
mm,
is a draw. The second likely scenario as I see, as you said, Arsenal win it somehow, like,
yeah,
do something. Because the thing is, I know you guys have the momentum to come back, but the thing is here, the after beating City, the hunger and the confidence and the belief to win the Premier League is a lot more. That okay, that
true, true.
we beat in City, so we can definitely win it. So of course
It-
the goals are higher, okay, at Arsenal. So again, if the expectation is such, I'm sure they will take the game in the manner where, like, they won't want it to be a KG game, but rather just get the
yeah,
3 points out somehow or the other. So probably something of that
yeah.
sort. And again, as I told you, like, we got the London boys in the team. Okay, like Saka and Reece Nelson and all that. So when the London boys are there, they just fired up against Chelsea. Eddie and all these people. Eddie's
Bro,
there. So
and
like,
these guys are like nightmares, man, to deal with. But again, it's
yeah.
also that and Kai and Georgie and all this thing coming back. So it's like, oof,
Kai,
but
I don't think will be starting. I think
yeah,
Jorginho will start. Jorginho, Declan
yeah,
Rice, and this guy will start. Odegaard. They'll start in the
okay,
midfield, and I see Kai coming in from the bench probably, like, coming in from the bench and try to do something. But Kai, I don't see him starting. I think Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka will start because they are fit. All three are fit.
True.
So
But
that's the
they'll
thing.
all be at international, right? Like
Oh no, no, Saka is not there.
Saka's not there. Yeah.
Saka, Martinelli both are not there. Jesus is there. In case Jesus does start, then Eddie will start.
Right.
So Eddie is there. Like Eddie is the one for Chelsea.
Eddie at the bridge. Eddie at the
Eddie at the
bridge.
bridge. Eddie at the bridge. So like that's what I see that okay, we got a like for a change after so many years, I can see that okay, we were the quality to beat Chelsea for sure. But again, it's at
True.
the bridge and the momentum is in your favor, and we just beat Brighton 4-1. But again, the
Yeah.
Brighton game, when I see it is a game of two halves. The first half, you all just were like very
Yeah.
okay, mediocre. The second half is when
Half
things picked up.
picked up.
So that's what I'm hoping is that okay, probably you guys continue the momentum, but again, Chelsea's team, as I see, what I see as an Arsenal fan, what can favor us that okay, you guys are a new unit and a young squad, and given the pressure of hosting a team like Arsenal, probably the nerves can get to you guys, and in the early portion of the game, you guys can concede. And if you do that, that's gonna turn the game around. Like, then you can probably it'll be that kind of a game where like, okay, then
Yeah.
Chelsea's just gonna try knock on the door and it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, it's just that. But the thing
Gonna
is,
be those
for a
frustrating
change,
ones.
now for a change after so many years, I see Chelsea on that other side, whereas Arsenal used to always be the team that
Exactly.
okay, fuck, like these guys are coming, Chelsea are coming home now. What do we do? How do we deal with them? And
Yeah.
nerves got to us, and we conceded. Fadafat, do goal first half, mein do goal conceded, and then Chelsea will chill the second half, score a third goal, and bye bye. Come on,
Bye bye.
done.
Close it off.
Leave
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
close it off. And I see
Yeah.
that Arsenal can do it this time. We can do it because
True.
nerves will be against you, and given that Disasi is also out,
This Hasi was a
so
big loss, man. I saw about that.
Disasi,
But I hope he comes
Reece
back.
James,
We feel
Chilwell.
it's a small knock. It's not a
Okay.
big knock. That's what I read last. But I could be wrong, mate. Like international week can change a lot, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. So like
but
you've got like
yeah,
mainly your fullbacks are also out. So that's where like I see
yeah,
that okay, we've got advantage. Why? Because you don't have
chances.
Reece
Yeah,
James, you don't have Chilwell right now. So you've got Kukurea and you've got
Korea.
Malo Gusto.
Yeah,
Kukurea and Malo Gusto. So Kukurea on Martinelli and Malo Gusto on Saka. Or should be otherwise. Yeah, yeah. Actually, should be otherwise.
yeah.
Malo Gusto on Martinelli and Kukurea on Saka.
Kuku plays
That's
right
what.
back these days, dude. Yeah, so
Oh
he
yeah,
plays
yeah,
right
yeah.
back these days. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So
Because we have
Kukurea.
either Colville on left or this other guy, Malo. No, if Malo
Oh,
plays, sometimes he plays right back. Then he'll play left
yeah,
back. But
yeah,
if
yeah,
Malo
yeah.
was, he had a this suspension.
Yeah,
So
oh
yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah,
also
yeah.
have some players coming back, bro. That's the thing. So, but let's see. I mean, that's why I think I'm with you, mate. I think a 2-2 would be best for everyone. I think you get the draw, the hunger, the fans also happy, everyone's happy. The players will get that.
Yeah.
Okay, we it was a good game. We put on a spectacle for the fans and
For
really endear
for
yourself.
Arsenal, I'll be honest. 2-2 will not be a very good
It'll
result
not
for
be a
us.
good result, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It'll not be a
yeah.
good result for us for sure because we
I just said the goals
anything
are
less.
higher, bro. Yeah,
Yeah, anything less than
goals
three
are higher.
points won't work. Like to be honest. But again, depends on the kind of game. Like Tottenham, when I see
Yeah.
the game, when I saw the game and when I saw the result, I'm like, okay, it's fair. Like we got two
Mm.
two out of the game because Tottenham actually played that well. So the thing is,
Yeah,
if Chelsea put in that performance, that kind of a
that's the
top
thing,
notch
mate.
performance, then I'll be like, okay, 2-2 was a good result. But the thing is, if it's
And
like, okay, Chelsea put on like kuch bhi and
yeah,
then
but
sneak in
that's the
two
thing.
goals.
You know, we have, as you said, mate. Like, like one half we can be like this, but second half we can just change it up. Like I don't know. It
Mhm.
sometimes happens. It could happen. So I'm optimistic in that sense. And similarly, if we hadn't won the last three games, I wouldn't be optimistic. I would have been
Yeah,
more pessimistic in this. But I
I
think
know.
we can also smash and grab it. Like a
Yeah,
simple
of
1-0 or
course.
2, and then just defend. And you guys
Of
are
course.
knocking, you can't get through.
Of course,
So
and that'll be a
that
frustrating
would
result.
be,
That'll be a
yeah,
very frustrating result for us. It's just that,
yeah.
but again, as I see that, okay, the Chelsea doing the 1-0 stuff at Stamford Bridge is going to be like stuff of dreams. Like to be honest, like that's like I haven't seen Chelsea do that since
Mark the
ages.
bus.
Yeah,
Mark the bus.
since Mourinho days, I've not seen that
Mark
only,
the
bro.
bus.
Where when did you guys last do it? Champions League final, probably you did it
Champions
after the
League.
Kai Havertz.
Champions League we did
After,
it. Yeah, yeah.
after the
Champions
Kai
League we did
Havertz
it.
goal, you parked the bus and then you
Mark
won the
the
Champions League.
bus.
That's the one instance I saw. But before that, like under Sari and Lampard and Conte and all,
Yeah.
it has stopped.
No,
Like, the one,
it's a different. Yeah, it's more attacking. It's more.
it's
You can make more mistakes at the back, more vulnerability at the back for sure. But
and it's a different, like different Arsenal also you're facing who's pressing. Like, these guys are
exactly,
going to come and press your
clinical
guys.
bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
press and clinical finishing. Like that's one thing we're still
Suddenly,
lacking is clinical
suddenly
finishers.
Martinelli, Saka come in and, like,
Yeah.
combine and just like poach in something.
I
And yeah,
remember
that's
the
what.
last goal he scored that Saka scored that
Yeah,
beautiful goal. It was
yeah, so
amazing.
that's what, like, it can, like, that's what things can change instantly, and that's what
True.
I feel confident as an Arsenal fan, because we've got these people who can turn the game around in seconds. That Saka,
Yeah,
Martinelli, these guys start the game, and as I said, that the upper hand, fortunately, we have at this time. That, okay, we are going to Stamford Bridge, but still, psychological edge we hold it, because this is a younger
yeah,
group of guys, newer group of guys, who will be under pressure, who will be under a level of pressure that they're
for
getting
sure.
the team which is second on the table. So you're hosting them. So that pressure will be there for them. It's just that I
Yeah,
want Arsenal to capitalize on that. Just capitalize
exactly.
on that. That's
You
the
know,
only thing. Because that's what champions do, right? That's what champion teams do. That's what
true.
you guys did
True.
when you
You
were
have to
champion.
take, yeah, 100%, mate. Like
When you
those are
when
the smash and grab 1-0s. Those are the most critical one where you need
come
the 3 points.
come to
And
Emirates and, like, come,
yeah,
like, grab that 2-1 win, 3-1 win somehow.
yeah.
Like, like that's what you
As you
guys
said,
did.
bro, anything less than 3 points is like considered a almost like a loss or a
Almost
like
like almost like a loss only.
yeah,
It's almost like a loss.
true,
And the thing is, like,
true.
again, it is what I know. Social media is gonna go all bang or like wonkers if you
Like
guys
gung
win
ho.
or draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, you'll have, like, your Chelsea fans show up and, like, hey, you know what? You're
No,
still
no,
the kings of London and all that. Like, I'm not saying talking about you. I'm talking about the general
yeah, yeah.
Chanty
Populist. Yeah, yeah,
CFC and all that
yeah,
on Twitter and all that. So you'll definitely
ah,
have that crowd show up. But again, I know it's just going to be one game and it's a long season.
yeah.
So
True.
again, as I can just hope it'll be like a game, like, as I said, a good game to watch. That's what I want, man. Like a good Arsenal Chelsea encounter to watch, where, like, okay, no matter what, we get the result, we don't get the result, it should
Yeah.
be a good game to watch, man. Like, that's one thing. That's the least I can hope for. Of course, then, and the secondary is
Uh-huh.
all the tactics which I discussed. That, okay, we have an
True.
psychological edge. You guys have the home
True.
advantage and all that. That's all secondary. The first thing is that,
True.
okay, it's a derby. It should be played like a derby.
Exactly. That high level of competitiveness, and even if it's fucking second versus 11th, don't matter.
Yeah.
Like it's a Premier League. Anyone can should take the game to the opponent,
See,
or have some
bragging
sort of
rights,
tactical. Yeah.
bragging rights. They should just play for the fans' bragging rights, rather just have
True.
that mentality and, like, go out there and play. I think,
Yeah.
that's the best approach for a derby.
Swander's good game, as you said, mate. Like
Yeah,
that tactical battle. Mikel versus Poch, I think, is also be an interesting, managerial
yeah,
matchup. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think it's a good time to face you guys, and I think good time for you guys to face us. A good challenge as well. So
It's
it'll be
it's
interesting.
come at the perfect time. It's come at the perfect
Yeah,
time. Like,
yeah,
I was expecting that, given that how when the first game I saw in Liverpool, I was like, okay,
yeah,
we play Chelsea probably these many weeks from now, and I was like, okay, probably you guys can become a fucking solid unit till then. But you
yeah,
guys had
yeah,
some bumps on the way, but it's cool.
yeah,
Now you're back, and
yeah,
it's looking like it's looking like it'll be an even game. It's just
yeah.
that you guys will have to hold to your nerves.
And that's the whole thing is that it looks like we're back. That looks from that point of view. But I'm also still not convinced, bro. As a fan, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we take one win, we'll take another win, we'll take another win. We need to keep building that momentum, even if it's a smash and grab. But it's a
Uh-huh.
psychological, as you said, you guys we want to get that edge back because we don't have that. Not with you guys. We don't have that with any team, bro.
True,
We
true,
don't have
true,
that psychological. Nobody's scared of us anymore. And I'm just
true.
like, are you serious? Okay, guys, at least fucking, get them a little bit scared. Like even if you lose the game, fine. At least make them feel like you can go and attack them. They
Yeah,
should be scared of Chelsea. So
yeah.
that's as a fan the best you can accept. End of the day, it goes down to the boys performing on the pitch and the managers setting them up. So
Yep, agreed there.
yeah,
100% agreed there. And that's what that's what I told you, like, go, like, take it one game at a time, because
yeah,
even if it's
For
this one
sure.
is a
Yeah.
loss for Chelsea, even if it's a loss for Chelsea, it shouldn't be like, okay, like, what the fuck is going on,
Yeah.
crisis
Yeah.
and all that. It shouldn't come up again, because
No
then it's going to be a cycle that, okay, you win 2 games,
cycle.
and
Yeah.
then people are like, okay, happy, and then one loss, and then it's like, okay, things are back in crisis. So
Mm.
there needs to be perspective needs to be drawn out, and that's why one game at a time right now for Chelsea, to
It's
be
just like
honest.
a PTSD thing, mate. Like it happens to
Yeah.
me as well. I go in that negative mindset, but I'm like, okay, I need to uh and shout out to my girlfriend as well. She might see the stream later, but she's like, it's okay, it's a long season, keep it. I was like, yeah, I tell myself this whole thing all the time, like, but tell the boys that, just you know, it's okay if you lose the Arsenal game, but go and win the next 5 games. I don't mind.
Exactly,
Just
exactly.
I don't
One of
mind.
the next 5 games after Arsenal also, like,
I'm
what's
also
fuck?
gonna be like that. That's the best part, no, bro. That they are this this
That's
this run of games is gonna show us, and at the end of that, if we don't win a few, then there's a good chance that negativity will come back,
yeah,
which
yeah,
I'm also afraid of. But again, it creates uncertainty, and maybe 1 year down
yeah.
the line, we'll be talking about the same things we talked about today. How was last season? How bad it was? It could be right,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm
probably.
optimistic. I'm optimistic, mate, and I really hope the boys can just put in a good effort. If we lose, it's okay, but just go out and enjoy. You're a new unit. It's a tough Arsenal team. Um, but
No,
try to win it.
as a fan,
Yeah,
it's completely fair. And as a fan, I think you have to be optimistic. Otherwise, you're not a fan.
yeah,
If you're not optimistic,
exactly,
if you're like, you're looking
exactly.
forward to something, right? Come on, that's what you believe in.
Something, yeah, bro.
You believe in that for a reason.
Yeah, and
So
yeah, for me, it's
yeah,
just
man.
good football, mate. Like, just go out
That's what
there, have a
that's
good show us a good spectacle, and that's all.
exactly that's what I'm
Yeah.
expecting. Just some good football on Saturday, followed by, like, I hope 3 points for us. Again, I'll be an Arsenal fan, and I
For
can,
sure,
like,
for
hope,
sure. Yeah, for
and I'll
sure,
only hope for the 3 points for us.
for sure.
So yeah, man, it is great having you on the show, and
Likewise, likewise.
definitely,
Great to be here.
this is like first of many streams with you to come. Like,
Yeah,
I'm hoping that we'll have a lot more to discuss about coming in the season, talking about
yeah,
Chelsea, talking about just other stuff as well.
yeah. Just football in general.
Let's
And pleasure to be
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
man. Thanks for the invite. Happy to
Anytime,
always
man.
put in my 2 cents as well.
Anytime, bro.
Yeah,
Anytime, anytime. I think, yeah, we can conclude the episode.
cool.
And yep, thank you
All
everyone
right.
who's watched
Cheers,
it.
guys.
Cheers.
And good luck for the game. See you in the reviews.
Good luck. Good luck.
Cheers up
See
the
you.
Chels.
Come on,
See
you
you later.
guys.